Good afternoon everyone and welcome back to the channel. As promised, I'm going to quickly go through the stuff that's in the back of the van. Obviously as the weather's a little bit better today, but yeah, there's the beast in need of a good clean, ready for next weekend. So with regards to the wheel carrier, I will do a separate video on that, so we'll leave that there for now. But yeah, this is the back of the van. So this is the mosquito net that I've fitted. Now it cost £75, come off of eBay, and yeah, it fits a high top Sprinter or VW Crafter. As you can see, they've rolled this piece up already, but we can do the same. All of it can be rolled up and connected at the top there, or we can have that down and open up the top piece and then roll that up. At the moment I've got it shut because I've got the front open and I don't want all the flies and that coming all the way through and that. So that's there. You've got the piece at the top, which obviously you open up for when the doors are shut so that it doesn't snag on the catches. But when you're parked up and you're opening it up so you don't get the mozzies and the flies and that coming through, that piece, that flap velcros back on to the other piece there to close that off. This was easy to fit. I just needed the wife to give me a little bit of a hand just to get it into place and straight and roughly where I needed it to be before I started it. Now in the kit that comes with this, you get two little sort of like guns with clips in. The clips are good. The little gun things that they give you are absolutely useless. They just got chucked away. What I ended up doing was using a screwdriver to pry the clips open a little bit and then push them on, and where they go onto is the actual seam of where the panels meet, which what happens is your rubber seal goes onto those, but the clips hold the mosquito net in place until you're able to get that back on, which then reinforces it. So yeah, there's got a couple of those on there. Most of those went up around the top just so that it held it in place until I actually could get there to do the rubber. As you can see with the marks there, white mark on the rubber and then a pink one on the inside, just so that I can line those up. And you need to make sure that you get those to line up, so you need to mark it before you take that off so that you know where it needs to go back onto, because if you don't get them on those marks on one of the corners or somewhere along the line, it's not going to meet and it's going to be a right bugger to get it onto. Effectively you need to sort of like mark it, put it on, make sure that you've got it to the point where the next one's going to line up and so on, otherwise it won't meet back on properly, and that holds it all in place. And I'm quite happy with it. The only thing that I've got with this is obviously where I've got the ladder and the wheel carrier, these have got to stay on there, you can't take those off, so I've had to cut it there. Now this material is really robust. Before I cut it, I got a spare piece because it comes and it's well and truly big and baggy, so that you can cut it to the size that you need it. So I got a spare piece, cut it and then really pulled on it to make sure that it wasn't just going to fray and rip. But what I'm going to do is, with some of the spare stuff, I'm actually going to make sort of like a seal to go around there to make that tighter on both sides. But that needs to be there so that the doors obviously don't swing open and smack the side of the van. You're not actually seen inside here, so I've taken that hatch off and we're going to see how we get on with that. We've got some hooks there for like wet clothing or wet coats. We've got some other hooks there as well. The table's in there and latched to the bulkhead, and then what I've done is put a piece of pipe in there, and that's the leg for the table. Up out of the way, it's not going to roll around and start smashing against stuff. And put the light on, and you see in there, so that's my inverter, and I'm really keen to make sure that anything that I store in this side is not going to be moving, so it can't hit the consumer unit there. The other MPPT, which is for the main big solar panel on the roof, and then obviously my inverter. I don't want that to get knocked about, and just as important, I don't want that to get knocked around either. So that's my Malaga water heater, and that's the isolation valves for the gas for the Malaga water heater, and also for the oven and cooker. Now that is the outside, I think it's called a bullfinch shower connector. So that's there, so that's the shower there. So basically that's just for like washing our feet off if we've then been down to the beach before we get back in, any muddy boots and stuff like that. But we can use it for an outdoor shower if it's really, really hot and we want a quick shower outside. But don't forget we've got the wet room inside as well, and then you can see the water pipes coming through from there, so the hot going through to it, and the white, and there we've also got isolation on there, so I can switch those off if we've got a leak. And that's it for underneath there. So yeah, I'm looking to put some box stuff there which isn't going to move around too much. What I'm going to look to do is put some form of drawer system in there so that we can pull it all the way out and we haven't got to be reaching in for stuff. But generally in here I'm going to be storing the two sort of like fold away chairs that we've got, a set of ramps, and then maybe some tools. But there is space in the cab underneath seats and underneath the flooring for tools, so I might be able to put a lot of stuff in there. And also when we take our coffee machine and our ice machine and also our sort of like hot plate that we got, that can be stored in there as well, and then we just get it out whenever we get to the position where we want to be to. Getting old. This bit here is a little bit grotty. I've had this off, gone through it and cleaned it all off underneath because there's a little bits of surface rust. Cleaned that off and then gone over it with Hammerite crust stuff to treat the rust, and then once that was dried off I've gone back along there with black Hammerite and covered it all, so that's protected reasonably well now for a while. But I will look to see if I'm able to get a replacement for that. I'll put some treatment on it and make it look a little bit better, but it's gonna always look naff. So see if I can find one that someone's scrapped one and that bit is better than what I've got. So the back doors on there have already been covered with the boards and then with the carpet. Underneath there is loads and loads of insulation. That is absolutely full up with insulation. I found that out when I fitted the wheel carrier, so I'm more than happy that if I've taken that off, it's not going to be cold or we're not going to get condensation and all that, because these are well and truly insulated. So yeah, that's the back, and obviously we can undo these clips and do these up all the way down. And as I mentioned before, we'll probably look to sleep with it shut normally, but if it's really, really hot and I find that I can't sleep because it's too stuffy, I'll have the doors open slightly, but I'll chain them from the other side so no one can actually open them right up and get in through the back. But there's not really going to be anything in there that's going to be worth stealing. I'm not really worried about anyone getting in there to get to us. If they do, I'll just give them some good news. Right, the other thing I mentioned the other day was the spare wheel, so I'll show you the spare wheel that come with the van. Spent most of its life underneath the van by the look of it, and there it is, absolutely wankered. There's no way that can be ever put back on the van or ever used. There's no way that you're going to ever get that back up. Down the other side as well. Awful, absolutely awful. So yeah, I bought another one off of eBay. Come with a little bit of rust on it, which you can't see now. I think it was there. So I rubbed that down, give that a really, really good clean, and sprayed that with the same paint as I used for the wheel carrier. And then inside there's a little bit of rust all at one point, so it looked like it had been stored somewhere where water had sat in. I think that's about a bit there. So I've sprayed that and got that better. and at the moment the tyre that's on there, yeah, it's not a brilliant tyre, but it'll get me through an MOT and get me out of the shit if we get a puncture or something gone wrong with one of the tyres on the van while we're away. So yeah, as I said, I thought I made quite a good job of that. Just also, last few days where the weather's been pretty naff, I've been working inside the van, so not that you're really going to see any difference on the camera, I don't think, but she's been painted now, so I've painted all the way through with, it's called White Mist Dulux paint, and I've gone for the matte paint on this time. It was satin before, so it was shiny, slightly shiny, and then this time I've gone through it with this paint which is matte, and next time I'll go back through it, I'll paint it with satin again. As you can see, one of the issues I had, I popped the lights down to be able to paint rather than mask around them. I popped the lights down to be able to paint right through, and that one's buggered. Took it apart, the cables come apart right inside the light, and it's too tight to get in there to be able to solder it. So for the sake of 20 quid, I've ordered some more. I've got 6 coming. Only problem is I couldn't get the same colour. These are called Daylight. The ones I've got are called Cool, so I'll probably end up replacing that one with one of the ones that's coming, because they come in a pack of 6. I'll replace that with one that matches that side, so it might be a little bit not so dark out here, but then don't forget we've got these on either side to be able to read and use, so it's not going to be a problem. And that's the hatch gone, and what it's going to be like with it at the back there. So stick this blind up, it's quite dark. Okay, it's not completely going to be dark if but at night time it will be. And then even though we've got that netting outside there, I'll bring this netting down here as well, so double protection from that. And then also what I've realised now is if I shut those doors, if I open this netting, we can hang clothing on those from the inside if we need to and get it back out. So yeah, I'm quite happy how that's turned out. So if we put that back up there, and then I'll quickly jump down here, and that's how that looks. Obviously we'll have the other down spotlights that brighten up a little bit more. So we've got the mattress, but before I put that in, I want to do that light, and I also just want to give it a little bit more of a clean up. I want to put water back in as well, so that I can take that board back up and just check there is no leaks before I secure that back down. Before I do that, I've got to sort out that waste tank underneath, because I want to put another tap in there. This bit of the video is for Paul Mack from Bolt Riders UK, just so that you can see the bed is not on the floor, because Paul seemed to think for some reason the bed was actually laid on the floor. He was worried I was going to struggle to get up and down, but it's not. Yeah, it's a good, well, I can sit there and dangle my feet. I know I've got short legs, but I can dangle my feet. So that is it. As I said, very, very quick, just so that you can see the bits and pieces that I've done. And yeah, so until next time, be safe. Oh, forgot to mention last time, I said about the Bolt Riders UK ride out, which is next weekend in Yorkshire. I didn't say where it was. So there's loads of us staying at the High Lannings campsite. The others are staying in the B&Bs in a village called Dent, and that's the area that we're going to be in. So if there's anyone that's watching this that wants to come along, isn't on Facebook, then that's where we're going to be from Friday night through until Sunday morning. And also there's a few people, a guy called Josh has reached out with regards to the Bolt Riders UK group. He's not got Facebook, but he's only got YouTube. So if there's anyone else out there that wants information about the ride outs, you're not on Facebook, get in contact with me, and I'll stick them up on YouTube so that you can see where we're going to be. So if you want to come along, you can. Right, that's it. I've got to get on. Have a nice weekend. Take care.